there's a very common sentiment right now blaming the current collapse of the West, particularly on mega rich and billionaires. And I can see why, but I see something more actually troubling within that trend, and it's something like the asymmetry of the power, because you see, at least it's my understanding that the majority of all those billionaires, mega rich, all these people shaping today are very left-winning individuals, right? I really can't name, top of my head, anyone like right-wing billionaire who is kind of active either politically or, and I'm talking about being politician, being active as a shaping the culture or anything, right? You have, Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg and all these people actively engaged in how they want to see the future, and there's no counterparty. And it's funny to me when you think about this, like it feels like the majority of the country is supporting the kind of, we all understand the decline and we want the change, and then there's sort of the right wing politics coming in offering that change, and then it feels like the majority is supporting it, right? At least here in the UK, and I feel like it's all over the West. But somehow, it's not the first time in the history like this, I think, and that somehow there's something, and I'm worried, there's something somewhere coming which is going to make it all lose that momentum, and we're going to get stuck into this madness we build ourselves around our lives. And like, we had to face it, right? We allowed these things to happen. It wasn't space aliens landed here, and like suddenly we're going to make our life, they made our lives miserable, right? It was on us. And as much as people like to blame immigration and as a main problem, I think this is not actually a causation. I think it's an effect of politics and policies shaped by billionaires and elites and mega rich, which are left-winning globally. I want to clarify this, that I'm not a political, like, right-wing activist or anything. I'm not a political activist, none of it. I have no time or interest in it. But my personal choices in life are probably more right-winning because I'm an entrepreneur. So I believe in free markets, which, by the way, are not as free as now. They're corrupt. So yeah, I accept that the current system is also been corrupt and it's not working as it's supposed to be. But I believe in personal responsibilities. I believe in family values. I'm a typical builder mindset, right? So I'm not interested in stupid conversation. I don't want to waste time on topics. I'm not interested in listening to people where they have their ideologies thrown at me. I'm just like, the same happens with this channel. I'm not engaging much when I hear this. It's just, for me, it's pointless. It's a waste of time and my energy. But I think it's important to understand that as much as we are building a momentum for the change, and I'm very optimistic about the West and the UK over the next, let's say, 3 years, I think there's going to be the time where things will change. I'll tell you where the risk might be, and I haven't seen anyone talking about this, and I tell you about this because it's my personal experience being in the business for a long time. So I've had contact with people who have so much money they would never be able to spend that money. I know people. I have some friends who are really, really wealthy, very successful, and I'll tell you what I see where the problem is. Right now, at least in the UK, and I think it can relate to the rest of the West and the culture, the way we're losing it. And also, because it's the end of term for kids in the UK, so kids are staying home and parents are getting absolutely mad, right? Crazy. We're losing our minds. If you're a parent, you can probably relate. I had this thought today, how we could use, for example, like how, if I was right-winning, mega rich, wanted to influence a country or something, what I would do, because there's something quite interesting, I think. I had the thought. Let me know. And if you like this video, please leave me a like now or later when you finish, if you like it, of course. If not, then fine. If you want to talk to me, please do. Leave me a comment below, just be respectful, and consider subscribing to my channel. And of course, I'm very thankful for the support I'm getting from you guys. Thank you for watching me, for comments, good energy. And obviously, I will never understand people coming here and say, "Oh, Mr. Optimistic," and just, you people maybe just don't do it. It's just wasting your time. But anyway, going back to my main point. I'll probably call this video something like why the West always loses, because this is kind of a ongoing situation, right? It's going on, and it's just like every time we build a momentum, it's like, and you see the main thing, as I called it, is the asymmetry of power. And let me explain you quickly what I mean by that. Is obviously everything now is run by the media, by the algorithms, by YouTube channels, people like myself, and obviously I'm not influential, but people with big audience, right? And on social media. And same as newspapers and TV stations, which are also less relevant nowadays. They don't even know this yet, but it's coming. But if you notice, they have a huge influential power, and it's not because people like them so much, it's because there's so much money being pumped into those organizations, and has been over the years. And a few days ago, I made a post on my channel here saying that I'm optimistic because all these woke policies and companies and media programs are kind of losing, and it's not because they're not good enough, it's because they've been forcing these things on other people, and they were being supported by sponsors, by money from somewhere, quite often by our government, by giving taxpayers money to support particular agenda or point of views, but also all these billionaires with big plans, right? And there's very few billionaires and agendas being financed by the opposition, the right-wing policies, politicians, or mega rich, believing in the right wing kind of values. And all these creators, they have so much money behind them. They have all these NGOs, governments. Like, it feels almost hopeless, but there are cracks starting to appear everywhere, right? The shows being cancelled, companies are losing revenue. After years of losing revenue, they're finally waking up saying, okay, we can't keep pushing things onto people, things they don't want, because eventually we need to make money somehow, somewhere. And they're losing it, right? Disney, all these movies, these things put on us we don't want to watch. Like, I don't want my kids to be politically involved in anything. I just want them to watch a decent cartoon. They have some, entertainment, right? I don't want any of it, but they can't get it. Like, they can't stop themselves. But the markets are stopping them, right? You can't carry on wasting millions of millions for that forever. So that's a good sign. But the asymmetry of power is real. And because you see, what I've noticed, and this is also in business, like when you're a left-winning business, it's much easier for you to raise capital or get a kind of support. And it's very structured, very organized. You have people supporting it. It's just easier, right? You post out there something left-winning, and you're going to have massive audience straight away, and people just throwing money on you. If, on the other hand, because they want to reach a narrative, right? They're not thinking about profits first. This is the longer term business they're into, the long term vision, where they're in right-wing businesses, which are more conservatives, more like normal businesses, where you just make your money, sponsor yourself, pay and grow and everything, which is how it should be technically. But we are in this cultural conflict being paid for by other people, which the right-wing or right-leaning businesses and politicians and people with money don't understand, right? Is rather than just flexing however little you took money from someone and you had to do it all yourself within in 5 years, left-wing businesses, they just get millions and they just do it overnight, right? Well, that's fine. That's what they do. And people on the right have this, we have to self-fund, we have to justify every penny. You're going to have to prepare all these presentations, pitch decks, and just go through all the processes, because the right-winning people with money, they want you to go through what they went through in order to build your character and become successful and all that, right? Which makes sense if that was 20, 30, 50 years ago. Now it's different. The culture's changed. Everything's different. And especially if you're a right-winning person or business, you're going to have to understand that the rules have changed. Okay, so if you want to have been a game, and it would be great for all of us to have left and right, because that's the balance. I don't want to be anyway too much. But we're now obviously been going more towards left-winning businesses and policies over the years. And then the right wing doesn't understand this. And there's this thing I call the ROI trap, right? So the ROI is a business term which means the return on investment. So if you put, say, £100 today as an investment, how much you're going to get out of this £100 in 1 year, right? And it's going to be whatever, 10%, 20%, 50%. But that is the business mindset, right? So you wouldn't put money in, invest in a business, wait some time, hopefully business is successful, then you get money out plus some interest. And what I've noticed in right-leaning billionaires, they want this pitch deck profits, and they want to be very focused on what's the profit, how do I get, like, imagine setting up, I don't know, the TV station, right, the channel or something, or radio for like right-leaning business, as a right-leaning business, right? You would go to this, pitching money, and they would, I guarantee, they would be sitting down thinking, okay, what's the ROI? It's important, the mission, but how much money are we going to make within a year, 5 years? What's the risk? Blah, blah, blah. Whether, in my opinion, in my feeling is, if you are a left-leaning personality, you just go to somebody, say, hey guys, I'm with you on that one. Let's do it. Like, let's go after all this rich people or something. I just need much money from you, and we're going to be talking about this. And they just throw that money, because long term, they understand that the culture is shifting their way. So while they invest heavily now, at some point in the future, that money will come back times 10 or 100. And right wing are very fixated now. Okay, where's the pitch deck? What do we do, right? And that's how it works in business. And yeah, like I said, it's good when the times are balanced, but we're not in very unbalanced society. So maybe would be nice to actually notice that. I have some notes as well with me, because I don't want to miss any point, because this is very, very important in my opinion. And to understand the balance, a real actual of things, how the world works, right? And the money is everything, as you guys know, right? We've been told money is evil, all at the same time. The enormous amount of money is being spent on all these policies from the people telling us the money is evil. So bear it in mind. So, when I said that it's just ROI, return on investment, it's the culture. If you move the culture, change it, that the return on investment is not immediate, right? Okay? It takes time, it takes the risk, and takes belief. That's what I was talking about in my video yesterday. Like, we have to believe, because it all starts with the belief, and then risk, and then money, and then just long term. We need to keep doing it, right? And it's like, if we lose that kind of if you don't understand this, there is because we focus on very, like, next year ROI, then we end up being where the NHS is right now. And this is again my experience, business experience, working with the NHS on different projects. They are so risk averse and so investment averse, right? They don't understand. They want money now. They want cuts now. But if you come up with an idea to the NHS, hey guys, we're going to save you money over the next 5 years, this is the plan, they're not interested. Or at least they were not interested up until now. I don't know what's up to date, but very recently, like, they would not do it. Like, you're going to have to do it now, and that's not how business. That's not how change works. That's what we don't understand. Right-winning businesses or politics, right? Where they're left-winning, they do understand it very well. It's like China. China has got plans, like 50 years ahead. They're just building like decades ahead. It's not just what's happened over the next election cycle, right? And that's why they're winning big time. And so the hidden cost is, every lost battle in culture becomes policy tomorrow, okay? And the more we ignore it on the right winning side of the world, the less time we'll have, and will take us more energy and cost us more to actually change it in the future. And it's very important to understand that even all these gated communities and tax shields, it won't be enough, because you can only run that far. As I said in my other videos, you can't run anywhere anymore, because it's global. You can't run, you can't hide. You have to stand your ground, and you have to just change whatever you can, or just do whatever you can. And if the people all the wealthy people, who are quite often more right-winning because they've made this money in business or something, they would not be ignoring this importance of actually supporting the culture they like. It will be much easier. So, in my opinion, they should be people. That kind of people, they should be more easily to spend their money on projects they believe. Okay, they should be engaging with communities and people, rather than just sitting in their beautiful gated communities, beautiful houses. Excuse me. They should be going out there more, because that's what the other side is doing actively and has been doing for a very long time, right? All these NGOs, and we don't. We're like that. They don't. I say we because it's closer for me. I'm more, as I explained, I'm more right-winning. My beliefs are more right-winning rather than just this left-winning current point of views, right? And like in my life, I had to make things from the scratch. Like I was briefly homeless. I was really nothing. I had a bicycle and £200. I was living on the floor. Then briefly homeless. I went through all of it, and I built sort of a success myself from scratch with no help. Obviously, there's lots of people were helping me, but no like government or NGOs giving me any money, and nobody was paying me anything. And as much as proud I am, and I'm very proud of it, and it's a good story. People like to hear it. It took me so long, right? It took me like a decade, where there are businesses being built within a year with the support from the other side. Like, so if I was left-wing person and I would be just talking openly about this mindset, it would be much easier for me to raise capital, get support, and just build a successful business. And that is so important to understand. I don't see it anywhere in the West when there's like these people with money, rather than, like I say, just sitting in these gated communities. Why don't you go out? Why don't you just use that influence and money you have to actually start talking about what's important for you? And if that culture you think you're talking about losing, the West is in decline, why are you hiding and not doing anything? I'm not talking about going to politics. And I'll tell you what I could do, what I was thinking about doing, for example, right now. Like I said, now we have this end of term, right? So kids are at home, parents are losing their minds. And I was thinking, you know what, because there's nowhere to go, and wherever you want to send your kids is very expensive, like 50 quid a day, 100 quid a day, some camp, even go to cinema, 50 quid at least, right? Popcorn and movie tickets, and half a day spent, you can't do work. It's very hard for the parents. And I was thinking, like, why there is no, like, imagine all these 5 or 10 super wealthy people would just say, hey, how about we organize camps throughout the summertime for kids across the UK, even maybe the poorer areas, right? The people they need more help, fully paid, very proper food, so they get really well nourished. Give them proper food, give them good education in terms like zero politics, no, this world agendas. It's just like explain them. I don't know. Like if that was me, I would maybe teach kids about entrepreneurship, why money is not evil, it's just a tool. And if you're an evil person with money, you're going to be more evil. If you're a good person with money, you're going to be most likely just better. All these things, while giving them time around safe environment, paid for by these people, giving parents extra time so they can actually maybe rest or work. That is the real influence, right? And if you do that, that would be like, I would guarantee there would be so many kids or parents would be just like, oh, that's quite interesting. And then you keep doing this kind of projects over the time, and eventually you start actually affecting the culture, the way the things go. But I can't see anybody else doing it. I can see these things happening more on the left-wing side, right? There's like more, at least that's what they're talking about. So you're giving money to people, and I'm against giving stuff like this. I'm more about supporting. And if you have lots of money or unlimited wasps, they're everywhere this year, I know, wasps, hate them. If you got so much money and you can just spend it, rather than just keeping it stuck somewhere, for later, you should go there and support what you believe in. Especially, it's so important. And part of it is also like the older generations in the West. All these people who bought houses back in the day for half what it is now, even less. You would probably do yourself and your kids a big favor if you would actually accept that you've had. Of course, everybody's got different problems, different ages, but that part, when it was financially, was much easier. And while you're still having this equity on your houses and all that, and amazing holiday, cruise ships, maybe you should do less of that, and just focus on actually raising a new generation of people in your country, because they need so much help. Young people, they need so much help and support from people like us, right? Who've been actually, 30, 40, 50 years old, who have some experience, who can talk about it. Now, I'm not influential enough to have kind of to be able to affect big parts of the population, but I am doing it through that channel. My channel is growing quite a lot, and I can see this is important for many people, and I'm getting messages, DMs, and it's great because I'm doing my part as the channel grows. If I'm going to be more successful as a YouTuber, I'll take it further, right? I'm going to be Mr. Beast of immigrants. I'm on a mission here. I want to talk about these things, but long term, I'm an entrepreneur, so I want to find a way of how to make money out of it so I can actually reinvest into things what I believe. The community, help people, help young people, from poorer areas, from places I used to live. Okay, and some of you don't, most of you don't know my story, which I'll probably record another video about this. But I lived there. I lived in Bethnal Green. I lived in Tottenham, in London, Bow. I've seen it all, and I believe that I can fail, but I believe that in trying, being positive, and trying to encourage people for a change is the way to go. And if I fail doing it, that's so be it. But I'm not going to just sit back and just saying how bad it is or how great it was 20 years ago, which some of you people from that watching me just keep talking about this, which is so annoying, right? It's like, okay, we know it was bad, so what? But I'm telling you, why is it now? Like, why don't you just get your politicians or your favorite billionaires, right-winning billionaires, to just say, hey guys, we need to spend money. You need to go out there and support lots of young people with projects. Give them lots of money. Just spend that money. There's no other way. The world is run by money, okay? Even left understands this very well. They understand it very well. And they just throw that money left and right. But in the right wing, it's like, oh no, profit, oh ROI, how much? Oh, okay, you need 1 million, there's go. Get 50 grand and show us what you build off. Like, we don't have time for that. So if you have somebody who's coming up, a brave young man or woman, girl or boy, has got some ideas, they believe in something, they should get so much support, right? All this Reform UK, all these people within politics, like, why don't you support these people? Why don't you throw money at them to keep them going? Because that's all it is. It's so important to get this power behind you, right? To build momentum and keep it going. And eventually, it's like with this channel, eventually, hopefully, it becomes so big, it's going to be just, self-propelling machine, right? So I'm going to be making money, spending, investing, and making even more difference. But that is my thing. And I think if people on the right would be willing to spend more money on projects like this, on young people, on their project or their businesses, let them fail, but pay for it and do it again and again. Don't go out there, criticizing people, or don't go there like moralizing people. Oh, you should help them, help the young people build a business, help them fail fast, and then make them stand up again and do it again, because that's how they build the character and everything for the future. And that's what we need now, because the left-leaning policies are bringing all those companies and big organizations down to their knees right now. We see it over and over, right? All these companies really in trouble financially. So now we should double down on what they've been doing as us. Like, if you want to preserve the culture your way, or the country. And again, I don't think it's immigration is the biggest problem. It's the most visible challenge, but I don't think it's the biggest problem. And it seems to be like, I don't think it's not rocket science to solve it, right? And it can be done fairly easy, whether that is, I'm talking about long-term investment and project, and it's so important, and nobody's talking about this, and I can't see it. Like, talk about, if you have any friend in the business, ask them how easy it is to get money nowadays. It's very hard, unless you have the NGO, right, talking about topics which the left-wing people like. That is much easier, right? All these billionaires, their wives, they spend that money left and right on things they believe, because they believe in that, and what other side believes, keep it for themselves, and then they just go on holiday and they stay in the gated communities. It's like, I have this quote here, I don't know who said that. We knew they wouldn't show up, that's why we didn't need to beat them, we just outlasted them. And that is so true, right? I don't know if somebody said that, or just I've seen it somewhere on the internet, but that's exactly where we are. We don't need, the other side don't need to do much. They just need to outlast us. And how do they do it? They just do it by throwing an enormous amount of money on their own projects, on the things they believe. And you see, I'll leave you with this. The future doesn't belong to the richest, in my opinion. There will be few. Obviously, there will be like oligarchs, global oligarchs. But I think it belongs to those who risk first and risk enough, or a lot, in terms of finance. Because eventually you just win, you just outflank everyone, and you just win. Because you can't just resist long enough if you have no money, and you're going against somebody who's got money. Like small businesses going against these massive businesses with unlimited money, you can't resist. So you see, the right doesn't lose because it's wrong. It loses, in my opinion, because it doesn't spend. doesn't spend enough money, enough time supporting people and projects they believe in. And unless they start doing it, then in the long term, they will face the consequences themselves. Their kids, their families. You can't run anymore. You can't run forever. You can't live in gated communities and everything. Eventually, this is, your kids go to school, they see, and then it will work against what you believe. So if you really believe in your values and in how to preserve the country, and you can afford it, find the people and projects you can freely spend and keep spending that money. That's it. Stop being this business person. Oh, what's the ROI? I'll give you 10 grand. It's like, no, we're talking about decent money for people with lots of, balls, young people, right? They need your support, my support, all of us. So whatever you can do, but if you have lots of money, give them money. That's it. Let me know what you think. I think the left-wing billionaires understand this very well. That's why we are where we are now. Where they're on the right-hand side, right-winning side, they don't. They just still want this conservative approach for business, and that is killing everything. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please leave me a like. Consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for your time, for your support. I'll see you soon. Cheers.